Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. I'm Reno, and today we have a really special topic for all language learners out there.
Thanks for having me, Reno. I'm Jake, and I'm excited to talk about this.
So today's topic is how to think in English. Jake, you've helped thousands of students with this exact problem. Why is this so important?
Well, Reno, thinking in English is actually the key to fluency. When you translate in your head, your brain is working double time. First thinking in your native language, then translating. It's exhausting and really slows you down.
Right. I've heard so many students say this is their biggest challenge. They feel stuck in that translation mode.
Exactly. And the good news is there are practical techniques anyone can use to break out of that pattern. That's what I want to share today.
Perfect. So let's jump right in. What's the first tip you'd give to someone who wants to start thinking in English?
Okay, tip number 1, start with simple self-talk. This is so powerful. Just narrate your day in English inside your head.
Can you give us an example of what that looks like?
Sure, let's say you're making breakfast. Instead of thinking in your language, try thinking, I'm making coffee. I need to boil water. Where's the sugar? Just simple sentences about what you're doing.
So you're not trying to be perfect, you're just describing your real life.
Exactly. And here's the key. Don't stop to translate. If you don't know a word, either skip it or describe it simply. Like if you forget kettle, just think the thing for hot water.
That's brilliant. You're training your brain to stay in English mode even when it's imperfect.
Right. It's all about building that habit.
Okay, so we start with self-talk. What's your second tip?
Tip number 2. Think in phrases, not individual words. This is really important.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, many learners memorize words like take, make, get separately. But in real English, we use chunks. We say take a shower, make a decision, get ready. These are fixed combinations.
Okay, so instead of thinking take plus shower, you think of take a shower as one complete unit.
Exactly. Your brain processes it faster. When you learn new vocabulary, always learn it with its common partners, like strong coffee, not just strong, or heavy rain, not just heavy.
That makes so much sense. This is why reading and listening are so important, right? You see these natural combinations over and over.
100%, which actually brings me to tip number 3. Immerse yourself in English media, but actively.
What do you mean by actively? What's the difference?
Don't just passively watch Netflix with subtitles in your language. That doesn't help you think in English. Instead, use English subtitles, or no subtitles at all.
And what should people do while they're watching?
Here's a technique I teach. Pause occasionally and try to predict what they'll say next, or summarize what just happened in your head in English. You're forcing your brain to produce English, not just receive it. And choose content you actually enjoy. If you love cooking, watch cooking shows. If you're into gaming, watch gaming streams. Make it fun.
That's such an important point. If you're bored, you won't stick with it. All right, Jake, what's tip number 4?
Tip number 4, stop translating and start associating. This one takes practice, but it's so worth it.
Can you explain what associating means?
Okay, here's an example. When you see a dog, don't think of the word in your language first, then translate to dog. Instead, look at the dog and think dog directly. Connect the image to the English word.
Right, so you're creating a direct link between the thing and the English word, cutting out the middleman.
Yes, and you can do this with pictures, actions, feelings. When you're happy, think, I'm happy, not translating from your language. Feel the emotion and attach the English words to it.
Are there any practical exercises for building these direct connections?
Absolutely. One technique is to label things in your house with sticky notes. Put mirror on the mirror, door on the door. It sounds childish, but it works. You're building those direct connections every time you see the object.
I love that. It's simple but effective. What's your next tip?
Tip number 5, have conversations with yourself.
Wait, like talking to yourself? Won't people think you're crazy?
Who cares what people think? You're improving. Here's what I mean. Imagine conversations in English. Pretend you're ordering at a restaurant, or explaining your job to someone, or talking about your weekend.
Should people do this out loud or just in their head?
The physical act of speaking helps your brain remember. And here's a great exercise. Take both sides of the conversation. Ask yourself a question in English, then answer it. Like, what did I do today? Well, I went to work, then
This is great because you're practicing real communication, but without the pressure of a real person judging you.
Exactly. You can make mistakes, pause, rephrase. It's all practice.
Okay, we're halfway through. What's tip number 6?
Tip number 6. Change your phone and devices to English. This is such an easy change with big results.
Really? Just changing the language settings?
Yes, your phone, your computer, your apps, switch everything to English. You use these devices every day, multiple times a day. It forces your brain to operate in English constantly.
Won't that be confusing at first?
At first, maybe. You might not understand every menu or setting, but you'll learn quickly because you need to use these things. And you learn really practical, everyday vocabulary. Words like settings, download, delete, notifications.
Yeah, okay. All those little tech words that we actually use all the time. That's smart.
And you're not making a special effort to practice. It's just happening naturally throughout your day.
I love how simple that is. What's your next tip?
All right, tip number 7. Learn to think through problems in English. This is advanced, but it's the ultimate goal.
What does that look like in practice?
When you have a decision to make, try thinking through it in English. Let's say you're planning your weekend. Instead of thinking in your language, try, should I go to the movies or stay home? If I go out, I need to spend money, but staying home might be boring. Maybe I can invite friends over.
So you're using English for real thinking, not just communication.
Right, and at first you'll be slow. You might mix languages. That's totally normal. But over time, it becomes more natural. You're training your brain to use English for actual problem solving.
This sounds challenging. Any other exercises that can help with this?
Yes, keep a journal in English, even just a few sentences each day. Writing helps you organize your thoughts in English.
What should people write about?
You could write about your day, your feelings, your goals, or even write down new phrases you learned and try to use them in sentences. The key is, don't use a translator for every word. Try to express yourself with the English you already know.
So if you can't say exactly what you want, just say something similar?
Exactly. That's such an important skill. In real conversation, you won't have time to look up words. You need to work with what you have.
These are all incredible tips, Jake. Before we wrap up, is there one final piece of advice you'd give?
Yes, be patient with yourself. This is so crucial. Thinking in English doesn't happen overnight.
Can you elaborate on that?
Some days you'll feel fluent, and other days you'll struggle. That's completely normal. The important thing is consistency. Even 5 minutes of practice every day is better than 2 hours once a week.
And I suppose perfection isn't the goal here.
Absolutely not. You don't need to think in perfect English. Native speakers don't even think in perfect grammar. We think in fragments, we make mental mistakes, we change our minds mid-sentence.
That's a great point. So what is the goal then?
The goal is to make English your natural mode of thinking. Not perfect, just natural.
That's so encouraging. Okay, let's do a quick recap for our listeners. Jake, can you summarize the 7 tips?
Sure. Number 1, start with simple self-talk. Number 2, think in phrases, not individual words. 3, immerse yourself actively in English media. 4, stop translating and start associating. 5, have conversations with yourself. 6, change your devices to English. 7, learn to think through problems in English. And finally, be patient with yourself.
Those are fantastic tips. Is there anything else you want to leave our listeners with?
Just remember, everyone who speaks English fluently today was once a beginner. They all went through this process. The difference between people who succeed and people who give up is just consistency and patience.
Such wise words. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today, Jake. This has been incredibly valuable.
Thanks for having me, Reno. I hope these tips help everyone listening.
And thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the next one. Hit the like button if this was helpful. It really supports us.
And don't forget to leave a comment. Tell us what topic you want to hear next, or share your own experience with thinking in English.
Share this episode with a friend who's learning English. It might help them too. See you next episode. Bye.
See you next episode.
Bye!